Hi, everyone. So just before lunch, let's have a quick session, 20 minutes, about values in tech. So when I was, wait, yeah, you see? Okay. So throughout my career, there was this thing that companies say about the fact that they have values, right? We care about integrity, we care about collaboration, stuff like that. And I really thought that throughout my career that it's just an arbitrary thing. You don't have anything to do with those values. It's just something that they say, and that's it. And I was wrong. So I will show you a way to leverage your values to basically assess your current workplace and your future one to make sure that you are in the right path and you have a successful career without sacrificing happiness and peace of mind. So basically, the what's in for me from this presentation will be to have a value-driven professional life, because dealing with systems, there's the data-driven approach. So since we are human beings, I think that we should be value-driven. And I will show you how to adopt this way of thinking and implement it in your professional life. Very briefly about myself, because I don't have much time. Hi, I'm Hila Fish. I'm a senior DevOps engineer, and I work for Wix. I'm in the entire tech industry for the last 15 years, and I only, like in the last few years adopted this way of thinking, of incorporating my values in choosing my workplace. So you'll see throughout the stories how it goes. And yeah, I have a lot of things to say about myself, but let's get right to it. So first of all, let's understand what are values. Values is a degree of importance, and basically it reflects a person's sense of right and wrong and what ought to be. So values are the core engine that drives principles, behaviors, and actions. Examples for values are equal rights for all, excellence deserves admiration, etc. Why are values so important? So it helps us create desired future, because knowing what you want is the first step in getting it. Also, it helps you with the sense of direction and purpose, because it should be a guiding compass not only in your personal life, but also in your professional life, as I will show you in this presentation. And when we are aligned with our values, we tend to be much more happier, fulfilled, and confident. And some people say that values and principles are the same thing, and I want to show you that it's not really the case. So principles are rules or beliefs that govern our actions. Values are qualities or standards that govern our behaviors. So basically, it means that principles are based and derived from our values. So let's understand what drives our decision-making and see how values fits into it. So first of all, we have emotions, right? And to take decisions in the best way possible, we need judgment. And as we know, emotions cloud our judgment. And if we make decisions based on our emotions, probably we will have bad decisions, or we will regret the decisions that we are taking that are based on our emotions. Opinions. So when was the last time you asked your friend to recommend you to buy some product, or you went to work in a certain workplace just because your former colleague told you, yeah, it's a great workplace to work for, right? Opinions. But the thing is that you need to take into consideration what the other person is coming from, which is not always aligned with what you want and what you care about. So this is something to consider. Information. So information is a good starting point to any decision-making, but you shouldn't always think only about the facts alone, or anything in life isn't always black and white, right? So we need to color information with our principles and values to make sure that the decision that we take is the specific decision that is right for us. Principles. So we said that principles are rules or beliefs that govern our actions. It's pretty good to take decisions based on that, but we need to get deeper than that. We need to understand and uncover why we have those beliefs and rules, and this will help us in making better decisions. And last but not least, values, the core of it all. Barrett Values Center said that decisions that we make when we are attuned to our values are a reflection of our values and beliefs, and they are always directed towards a certain purpose. That purpose is the satisfaction of our individual needs in our personal life, or collective organizational needs in our professional life. And when we use our values to make decisions, we make a deliberate choice to focus on what is important specifically to us. So I say that you should own your career and not just go with the flow, and that's the whole purpose of this basically talk, to understand what you care about and then take decisions based out of it. And some people will say, I don't want a career, I want a job, 9 to 5, feed my kids, and that's it. And if that's the case for you, it's okay, no judgment, but that's the thing, that if you really want to have a career, you need to own it. You need to navigate it to fulfill your aspirations, your goals, by owning it, and then you'll be able to do it, and not just by going with the flow, which in terms could be like just directing you out of your desired direction. And by owning it, I mean, among other things, is that opportunities are important. But some people say that if opportunities come knocking at your door, you need to seize them. I say seize them, but if they go along with your needs, goals, and direction. Otherwise, they could potentially steer you away from them, and it's not really what you want. So let's understand how values fits to all of it. So we have this notion of company culture fit, right? Company culture fit is basically the desire of a company to make sure that the people they hire fit the DNA and the behaviors that go along in the company and the department, to make sure everyone is on the same page. So it means that if a company values delivery, they will want to recruit people that have delivery as their first priority as well. Or if a company values collaboration, then maybe, or we can assume that pair programming is a norm in the company or the department, and they want to recruit people that are collaborative as well. And it should be the same case for you. You need to make sure that company's culture fits your values and your needs and your perspectives. And when values are shared between you and the company, they build internal cohesion in a group, which is really what we want to achieve. So in order to really grasp some more what is company culture fit, let's understand how it is grasped from the organization perspective. So culture fit is the likelihood that someone will reflect and or able to adapt to the core beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors that make up your organization, which means that culture fit is a thing. And if you ignore that, you will find yourself struggling to prove yourself, to shine, and even to feel at ease in your day-to-day. You'll be experiencing conflicts, inability to set things in motion, and even to harness people to help you in your projects and tasks in your day-to-day, if there is a clash between the culture fit and your values. Company culture fit from the eyes of the employee. So company cultures are like country cultures. Never try to change one. Try instead to work with what you've got. So either you work with what you've got, and if you can't work with it, and it really even makes you unhappy to try, then probably you need to search for another workplace to work for. Okay, this was really fast-paced because I really want to set the pace and set the baseline here. Values, great, we got it. Now what? What do we do about it in our day-to-day? So I want to show you this example. My leading value is collaboration, and I worked for a company that recognized it. It was a shared value between me and that company. Don't try to read what's going next. If you really want to read it, go to my LinkedIn page. It's there, okay? But this is a recognition I got from my company. They had this program called Cheers for Peers. Every quarter, they check. They had like this program where all employees in the entire company could tag people based on the company's values, like collaboration, integrity, etc., and then give points to whoever, like, thank you for helping me with this, thank you for this, and then tag the relevant values. And then each quarter, there was recognition, and then the top dog for that value, I was top dog collaborator, we got recognition. Why am I telling you this? Not for you to tell me where to go and clap, don't clap. I'm glad that you don't have even the thing to do it. In Israel, whenever there's like we land in an airplane, they clap. I'm like, why? You just did its job, right? So why do you clap? So I'm glad that you don't have this like way to go. I'm telling you this because I want to show you what happens A, when you are aligned with your values, and B, when there's a culture fit between your values and the company's values. So you get you get to shine, and you get your company to recognize it for you, which is always the good case to have. Why should we consider even values in the decision-making process? So first of all, to avoid comfort zone. So at sea, when we are at sea, going with the flow means to drift with the waves. And then if it happens, it means that we will be stranded on an island or worse. Our day-to-day drifting is much more slower than that. We could get carried away and drift to a comfort zone that doesn't really help progress your career, and you will find yourself in a place that wasn't the place that you intended to be. Another reason, you can find yourself suffering daily and not doing anything about it just because you're used to it, aka dealing with the devil that you know, as opposed to the one that you don't. Because people say, hey, I don't want to put myself out there in the market, maybe it will be worse, maybe, I don't know. And a lot of people prefer to deal with the devil that they know. I say, not always, because we always have fears and concerns, but they are temporary, they are ad hoc, and the constant should be your goals and your overall direction that you are aiming to. So the practicality of understanding how to incorporate values in our day-to-day, professional day-to-day, starts with the notion of technology is not everything. Cool stack is great, it's very important, but it's not everything, and you need to append. You see, I did a code. You need to append your values both in job hunts and day-to-day. So in job hunts, it means that you interview them as much as they interview you, which this is something that you need to remember. Which means that you don't just ask about technology stack in the interviews. You need to ask about things that will help you understand if your values are being valued and implemented in this company. And examples, of course, will follow. And for day-to-day, how do we do it? Let's see. So in the day-to-day, in order to see if our values are getting implemented, we need to have and adapt to a lighthouse or float point of view kind of approach, which means that if we talked about the sea, when we are at sea and drifting means going with the waves, it means here not drifting, not going into our comfort zone. Instead, raise your head above the water once in a while to make sure that you are still steered towards the desired direction. How do you do it? You don't wait for performance reviews, basically. Performance reviews is only once a year. You decide on a cadence, once a month, once 3 months, 6 months, whatever you want, and make sure your values are in check and you're keeping true to them. So when doing the retrospective, don't decide just to stay in a certain job just because the tech stack is cool and you have interesting tasks. You need to consider your values fulfillment as well. How do you do it? For example, let's do one check-in here. So we said, yeah, cool tech stack, interesting tasks, great. But if in parallel you have a micromanager, or it's very hard to progress with tasks due to no collaboration or knowledge sharing, or production on-call is noisy for those of you who do on-call production, and there's no priority to fix it, so burnout is guaranteed. It's okay to call someone on their day offs, even if it's not urgent. These kind of things can happen in parallel to your interesting tasks and cool tech stack, but is it worth it? I don't know, you tell me. This is your life we're talking about, okay? This is an example for a collaboration retrospective that I do with myself. Only a few questions that I ask myself, but it really depends on each company that I work for. But for example, if I think about collaboration, I check these answers to these questions. Did I have any pair programming tasks at work? Does my team leader support or encourage that? Pull requests. Are my team members just ask for approve my PR or review my PR? It happens. I have had these kind of team members before where just approve, give me a stamp, or please review because I want you to give me input. I want your collaboration. I want to make the code much more cohesive and better and bulletproof. And overall culture in the department or in the company, do people tend to help each other? And you are encouraged to help each other, or it's a fly solo, figure it out yourself kind of a culture. If so, it means collaboration is not really present in that company or in your department at least, which is very important. And then you will find yourself maybe struggling because you really care about collaboration like me. I really care about it, and if it doesn't portray it in my company or in my department, then it will be difficult in my day-to-day. More questions that you can ask in a job hunt. When you search for a new job, you can check what are the company's core values. Search for them in Google or LinkedIn, and even ask about it for the interviewer. And if they are public about it, it could suggest they feel strongly about it too, thus letting it be their guiding compass, okay? How do you measure companies' core values? Because if a company declares its core values, yeah, we care about integrity, we care about collaboration, our people come first, blah, 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 they should have a way to measure it. Same as they measure your performance through performance reviews. They measure the company's performance through financial reports and stuff like that. They should also have a way to measure their own values implementation in the day-to-day. Ask your interviewer a general question: what is success in your book? Based on the answer, you will be able to tell what is important to your interviewer. So if, for example, your interviewer tell you that I want my team to be #1 in feature delivery, I want to be top one, like to deliver the most amount of features out there, blah, blah, blah. So you see that they care about delivery. And I, for example, when I think about myself and if I will be okay working with this team leader, I'm checking, okay, I don't think I'm going to be like top delivery, because for every task that I get, I really like to go to the person that opened the task, or to go to the developer and talk to them a bit, understand the requirements, see if the implementation is really what's needed. Maybe a lot of the times people ask, I'm a DevOps engineer. I'm used to people asking things, and then I'm like, wait, let's see if this is really what you want. And then we change the implementation and solution altogether. So I need to check if the thing that they ask for is really what they need. It's not always the case. So maybe I'm not suitable for that company or that interviewer that said, I want delivery, and that's it. This is the most important thing to me. Maybe they need people that just get tasks, read them over, implement immediately, and this is what they care about. This is how they measure success. But I care about doing what's right. So this is an example for a clash that could happen in your day-to-day, and you need to think about it and know about it before you go to this workplace, and then you know this is not the right place for you. Ask them value-based questions. So for example, personal growth. If you care about personal growth, check if there is a personal growth plan in place. Is it actually implemented? For communication, check the sitting arrangements in the office. Does individual contributors sit with management? Is there open communication out there? And now I'm going to show you a bunch of questions, a lot of questions that you can ask for more values that I'm going to show you. Some questions are more suitable to ask in an interview. Some are more suitable for your retrospective with yourself. But basically, if you answer these questions, you'll be able to see if those values get implemented. So let's continue the lead with communication. Communication channels, check Slack, meetings, etc. How is the communication being handled in those channels? And if you're okay with it, if it's really suited your style, and if the communication even exists. Is it okay to ask questions? Do you get feedback and positive communication, or only get feedback when something is wrong? Speaking of feedback, do you have ongoing feedback, one-on-ones with your team leader, or only you get feedbacks during performance reviews once a year? And if you do have one-on-ones, is it only for your team leader to speak, or do I feel it is expressing issues and thoughts as well? Post-mortem, the meetings that we have after critical incidents in production, how is the culture in those meetings? To blame you or to learn from the incident? This is very important. Check the messages in Slack. Are they fixed? Check now. Or the issue was X. I did a change that Z. I dealt with a lot of people that only fix, check now. I'm like, wait, what was the issue? Let me learn from it. Let me understand. Maybe I will encounter this issue as well, and I can learn from it, and I will implement it differently. But no, some people are like, fix, check now. And it really allows you to understand how communication is being handled and what type of people are being recruited in that department. Integrity. Can I speak my mind if something is wrong? Is there trust, macromanagement, or micromanagement? Can I say I messed up without having any fear that I will be punished for it in some way? Are my managers accountable for their words or promises? And do I have autonomy on my work hours? Because if so, it means that there is integrity between me and myself, me and my team leader, etc. Personal growth. Are there predefined tracks for non-managerial growth, like individual contributors or tech leads? Is it encouraged to attend or even speak at conferences like I'm doing just now because my team leader is awesome? Is there a mentorship program, and are others willing to mentor even without a defined program, which means that the company or the hiring managers recruit people that care about other people's growth, which is very important. And is personal growth a priority as much as delivery? Companies that say, our people come first, is it for real or just a slogan? Innovation. Is it encouraged to suggest new tools, bring up new ideas or tasks? Check the volume of maintenance versus the volume of new features. What conquers what? Do you have other extracurricular stuff like hackathons, demo days, open source contribution days, anything that is outside of the regular day-to-day, which means that the company or the department cares about innovation and wants to do things to make sure innovation is happening and allow users, not users, the employees to engage in it. Ownership. Is it expected to do things in an E2E manner? Dev-centric culture. Does the developers care only about their code, or they care about other peripheral stuff like monitoring and tests and stuff like that? So it is dev-centric and they care about everything. Are you tasks independent? Do you have design responsibilities? Do you have the ability to take decisions without being in a leadership role? It's very important. Leadership. How do I perceive leadership? The leaders in the company, are they the embodiment of how I perceive leadership? Do leaders know their employees or colleagues personally? It says a lot about them. Do I look up to or appreciate the people in the leadership roles? And what does it take to be a leader in the company? Maybe I need to have a very strong elbows in order to be a leader. Well-being. Is there an understanding of flexibility for personal issues? Are people getting contacted on their day off? Well-being, not so much. Production stability is a priority and resources are allocated to reduce on-call noisiness, or the company is in a ad hoc putting out fires culture and then burnout is guaranteed. Does the company work in a hybrid setting, which is very useful for well-being? And same goes for autonomy here. If I have autonomy on my work hours, it allows me to take care of my well-being. And last value that I'm gonna share here, knowledge sharing. Sessions for knowledge sharing, available in your workplace or not? You should check. Is writing documentation an integral part of the team's day-to-day? If so, it means that they care about knowledge sharing. Are you encouraged to write blog posts? If so, again, knowledge sharing. And same goes for communication here as well. Check the Slack messages. Fix, check now, or the issue was X. If so, it means they care about knowledge sharing. They want to tell you what was the root cause and let you learn from it. Okay, I gave you a lot of questions. A lot. I saw that you took pictures. I think that you will get the slides afterwards. Don't worry. But you can say to me, I can ask some questions you can ask yourself, and I hope that you wouldn't lie to yourself when you answer them. But some questions that you ask your interviewer, you can say, I will ask them, but they want to hire me, right? So they'll probably lie, right? So I say that, yeah, they might lie, but there's a way out of it, okay? So I'll show you an example. If I ask you to describe your house, okay, what will you answer? It is big, 4 rooms, I have a fence, there's a fence, basically that's it, white fence, 4 rooms. So basically, you will emphasize whatever you want to emphasize. That sounds good, prettify the truth. But if you ask specific questions, it will be very hard to lie to you. So if I ask, what are the sizes of the rooms? Or is the house close to a train station or something noisy, then it will be straight up lie, okay? No way out, no prettifying the truth, straight up lie that you will find out very soon and can bail quickly with little to no drawbacks resulting from this decision to be there. And I saw a lot of people that did that and then bailed out from the decision quite quickly because of that. But also, you can try to find someone that is close to your designated team as much as possible, or a former employee, and they'll be probably have no issues spilling the tea if you will ask any question. So that's basically it. Remember, technology is not everything. Values can and should help you navigate a career in tech that best suits you. So I give it to you now. Time to start thinking, what do you value and what are you going to do with it? Thank you.